Rebel it hard, settle your mind. Rebel it hard, travel through time. Rebel it hard, settle your mind. Reading a message. Rebel it hard, travel through time. Always rebellious.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Colby Rebel Show. I am your host, Colby Rebel, where we discover the trailblazers, starlights, and everything in between here, discovering all modalities of healing, connection, and transformation. And today I am very, very excited for our special guest. He is an energy field architect, a soul-infused walk-in and transformational healer. So he works in the intricate layers of a person's energy system to design and harmonize the flow of energy within and around the body. So by attuning to each individual's unique vibrational blueprint, he identifies imbalances, stagnations, disruptions. He has transformed the lives of thousands, offering profound healing and empowerment to those seeking emotional, physical, and spiritual breakthroughs. So without further ado, please, let's put your hands together for Ken Lloyd. Hi, Ken.
Hi, thank you so much for allowing me on your show. This is going to be exciting.
So exciting. It's so exciting. And again, once your team kind of sent me some info, I was intrigued. I have so many people that kind of submit to be on. I follow that intuitive hit, that kind of spirit nudge to say, oh, this person. And that was very, very strong with you. And I am just so curious because, you know, like me, you did not do this initially. You kind of had a little bit more of a traditional background. So do you mind just sharing with our audience a little bit of that traditional trajectory and what then created that transition for you?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll run through the cliff notes real quick. So I'm a self-taught cybersecurity entrepreneur. Okay, I don't have any college. I also don't have any religion and no spirituality when everything happened. Like, this was a completely out of left field. But I have built 3 cybersecurity companies, right? I sold them to ISPs. I've sold them to Silicon Valley. I've sold them to cyber intelligence firms in DC. But this is what I did. And I taught myself all of that. So, sounds fun, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
No, very, very stressful.
Definitely needed, though. Definitely needed.
Yeah. I'm one of the original inventors of antivirus and anti-spyware. Like, that's what,
Wow.
that's what I did for the world way back
Wow.
when. But it comes with a lot of stress, right?
Yes.
In 2017, a year before my event, I was diagnosed with a pituitary tumor, which
Okay.
was a cortisol tumor wrapped around a cortisol cyst, or the other way around. The cyst was around the tumor. So the amount of cortisol in the body was pretty intense. Angry. Absolutely angry.
Yeah.
It sounds, you know, when we talk about having all these entrepreneurial experiences, like, wow, that guy's great. I'm like, wow, yeah, no, I almost died. Like, it was
Yeah.
really, really stressful. But I found myself triggered, angry one day. And it was early 2018. So I went to lay down in bed and I was immediately electrified. My stomach arched in the air, right? So like an upside, I mean, it was crazy. Upside down letter U. I could feel heat and energy swirling in my abdomen. And at about a 4-minute event, and it popped out, I passed out. And I woke up the next day, peaceful. Like, the anger was gone. The weirdest thing. And my life began changing after that. But I'm going to pause there. It took me almost 2 years to understand what took place. But for your audience, this was what was called a trauma release event. All that energy that was inside of me was being released at once, which allowed the field to raise its frequency and a walk-in soul aspect to come into my field. The idea of having a near death and that tunnel opens, we hear the stories, right? Epiphany, instant healing, and all that. Well, the tunnel opened. I got none of the other stuff, right? And I didn't go over to the tunnel. I had a soul aspect, which is a portion of the soul, if you will, come into my field. Right?
Okay.
I call these tools in a tool belt. So that aspect came
Yeah.
in.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Tools in a tool belt, right? Or a toolbox. Like this is a
Mhm.
tool came in, and I didn't know it was there for about a year and a half. Every psychic needs a psychic, right? I need people to
Yes.
help me understand me. And they helped me understand that what that was happening was that soul aspect was getting me, like the next day, I had immense passion to understand what took place, right? And it led me down that rabbit hole, which isn't a rabbit hole, really, it's my life now. What is energy? What is a chakra? What is your aura, right? What is emotional healing? What are all of these things, right? And
Yes.
as I'm doing this, I'm picking up a book on energy healing. And, you know, the
Oh,
exercises in there, right?
yep.
I'm
Yep.
doing the work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's going on here? It's been 8 years since that event, and so much has happened. I didn't have one soul aspect come in. And by the way, it's what they call a walk-in, right?
Okay.
There's a traditional walk-in. I roll my eyes with the word traditional there, but a traditional walk-in is an exchange. You go over, you never come back. But another soul
Right.
occupies the body. When they come out of whatever trauma they're coming through, they usually shift their life immediately. You know, no relationships,
Yep.
no marriage, all that done, gone, right? I was what was called a soul braid, not an exchange.
Okay.
So I actually never went over, right? So I didn't get any instant healing. I had to have surgery for my stuff, none of that, right? But that lodged in my field and began helping me understand what I am. One turned into 12 more in April of 23, and then the higher self in December of 23, 9 more in Yalapa in Mexico in 24, and then Tulum, they all merged and become a soul infused into my physical field. So yeah, that was the Cliff Notes.
Wow, that's so powerful and connected. What I want to know is through that journey, did you have fear? Were you worried? Did you feel protected? What was your personal experience through that transition that you were experiencing?
You know, I think there was a lot of, so the 12-12, when the higher self came in, 3 weeks later, he had me asking for a divorce. 17-year marriage, beautiful one, kid, the whole 9 yards, and you know, being an entrepreneur, I did really well. I ended up putting my house up for sale immediately. I sold all my vehicles, gave the belongings away, and ended up in Mexico with just 3 suitcases. And I've never been out of the country in my life, right? Never, don't speak Spanish. So fear wasn't one of the things. It was like you just knew you had to do it. But
Right,
through
right.
this process, there was a lot of emotional swings, from depression to just weirdness as all of this stuff started changing and my reality shifted massively. So not
Yes.
fear, because I woke up to who I was or who I am.
Okay. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And I call it my
Mhm.
job. Like I've done this so many times. Like it's just, I thought everybody could do this.
Yeah, yeah. We're so similar. You know, it's funny when I teach students about connecting to their intuition, psychic mediumship, I call it your clairs are your tools in the toolbox, similar
Yeah.
to you.
Mhm.
And I've plenty of videos where I say spirit is my boss. I still have a boss. You think you're an entrepreneur, but you're not. Now you're of service.
Yeah, totally. They run me and the business.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I know when we talked in the intro, there's a lot of powerful healing that you do for others, you know, helping them to reach their highest potential, vibrationally align, maybe remove blocks. Can you share how you do that for your clients?
Yeah, it's different now than it was in the beginning. So when I
Okay.
started learning how to do this, and by the way, I have no modality, right? I took Reiki. That was it.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So in the beginning, you know, and I love to talk about shoulders just because it's a fun topic. But in the beginning, if I'm healing somebody's shoulder, I'm seeing all the visuals, right? It would take me an hour or 2 hours to get the relief and the healing it needed in the beginning, right?
Okay.
But as they kept putting more and more people in front of me with the same issue, for 3 weeks it'd be shoulders, for 3 weeks it'd be the brain, it was really crazy how people would show up with the same things for a period of 2 or 3
Yes.
years.
Training.
Training, totally, right? So that was what I call the long form for me. Like that was a lot of understanding what's taking place. And then I would go into the shoulder and I would, you know, look at the past lives and work with the past lives or the ancestors. I'd have all these conversations in light language or whatever I was doing. But that's not how it works today. They continue to shift and evolve me. And now I don't even need the visuals, right? It's just
Okay.
light language and it happens. And there's times I don't need light language either. I can literally see and move the energy out of your field in real time.
Oh, I love it. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So
Wow.
I'm like the heavy construction equipment of healing, right? I'm able to
Yes.
go in there into your field and reach in all of that distortion, pull it
Yeah.
out so you naturally raise your vibration and heal.
Well, as you do it, do you Just out of curiosity, do you see color? Do you see material? As you see what needs to be pulled out, does it have a physicality at all to you?
It does a little bit, but what's happening here, even with my team, the complicated visuals that were in the beginning have now reduced itself to almost the same visual all the time. It just doesn't matter. So I can see your field or your body, if you will, and I can see distortions in there. And just like your clothing, if you will, I'm able to reach in and pull it off like that. I can open up your field, like if you're going to open up a bag or something, and allow all of that trauma, emotional, whatever it is, I call it distortions, to literally move out of your field and rapidly.
Okay. Wow. And what have your clients experienced after a session with you? Can this be done in like one session? Because you said real time.
Yeah. It can be done in one session, but don't forget we have more than one problem, right?
Yeah. It's a buffet sometimes.
It's a buffet.
What are the results though? Like, how does a client feel after an experience with you?
Well, first of all, it's important that they don't have any expectations on how they're supposed to feel.
Okay.
Right? There's nothing they need to do. They can show up drinking a coffee, right? Or whatever they want to do. It just doesn't matter. They can do it while they're sleeping. In fact, a lot of people will pass out, while this is taking place. Their higher self will shut them down so they can receive. But typically, the tingles in the body, we always get that, right?
Yes.
But headaches, head pressure, you'll get dizzy, nausea. You might feel like you're going to pass out. Like this is a normal thing, especially if I'm in front of you physically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what shifts is the pain and discomfort, assuming they're ready, right? There are people who have resistance, but that aside, it leaves the body almost instantly. The shoulder that couldn't move for 20 years has now got full range of motion with no discomfort, right?
Amazing.
Your spine straightened out. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I had a lady, and I love to talk about this story. She's a 22-year-old paramedic. This was 5 years ago, by the way. And she was diagnosed with a brain tumor that was inoperable and aggressive cancer. She was given 2 months to live.
Wow.
Did the session with her, and 2 days later, she had her MRI, gone, right?
Wow.
This is normal for me in my world.
Okay.
Right? And it's been 5 years. She has to have an MRI every 2 months the rest of her life because of the type of cancer. It has not shown up again.
Well, that's probably not a bad trade-off for her, right?
Yeah, well, it changed her life.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, it changed her life. Now she's all spiritual and she's, whatever she is.
Good.
It's just amazing. But you're going to see disease and ailments just leave. Once you get rid of the energetic root cause, there's no reason for it to be there.
Wow, I need it on my neck. I used to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
Your head can only get slammed on the mat for so long.
Yeah. Well, we can totally work on you if you want. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, as you do this, a lot of people ask me, right? Do you ever turn it off? ? Right? When you're in public, do you turn it off? What do you do? Do you turn it off?
It's off.
Is it?
It's off until it's on. It's the opposite. So as I'm moving through my evolution, right, I got to experience a lot of things, including mediumship for about a month or so. But they would hop into my body and I would feel that expression. I'm like, I am not doing that. Right. So they continue to shift and change. And I apologize, but my brain's going left and right. I need you to repeat your question.
Oh, just the fact of what is the experience that do you turn it off? Does it stay on? But you said it's always off until it's on.
Yeah, because we all have big missions. We all have big missions. So please don't look at that as an egoic sense. But I'm here for millions of people. I'm heavy construction equipment to work on thousands of people at once to pull those distortions out, right? In order to do that, I have to be able to show up and not be impacted by other people's energy. So they turned off that empathic and shielded me from that. So I don't feel anything when I'm walking through a grocery store. I never connect to anybody until it's time.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Great. So then I would assume that after, if it is a large group, you don't experience fatigue. Is that correct?
Not my energy. I was
right?
doing one-on-one sessions and I was doing 12 to 14 a day and I wasn't getting tired. It wasn't my energy. It's the divine. It's them doing the work. The physical structure, about a year into it, I began feeling this weird sensation in my fingers and my toes when I would lay down in bed, right?
Okay.
And over the years, it got stronger and stronger through my whole body, right? And this was them shifting the cellular structure of the vessel. And then in February of last year, so 18 months ago, I woke up and I couldn't move my body. I was void of all emotional construct. Nothing. And what I woke up to was the team pulling all of my chakras out and replacing them with higher voltage ones.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, so I can
Okay.
deliver more, right? So that was the
Mm-hmm.
weirdest experience as well, right?
It's
So
like upgrading your electrical panel.
you got it, exactly. I call it dryer voltage. Yeah.
There you go.
So I
You
feel
went to
like
a 220.
yeah, totally. You get it. You totally get it. But
That's
I
funny.
can feel when I'm laying down, I can feel every cell in the body vibrating all the way down to the marrow
Okay.
and about an inch outside of me when it's intense.
What about, a personal relationship for you? Does this impact a romantic or personal relationship for you in any way?
You know, it's a great question. It's been a struggle because I
Yeah.
don't know how to date anyways, right? I'm a married guy. I was a married guy, right? But so I don't know the whole dating scene, but trying to find someone who can actually understand in
Yeah.
any capacity what's taking place has been very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Having a relationship with someone who doesn't understand any of this energy stuff just
Yeah.
doesn't pan out.
No, no. Same for me. I was single for a very, very long time until I just randomly met my husband, and then that was it. So,
Yeah,
and it was perfect. But I always put out to spirit, like, I won't be with someone who doesn't support what I do. And it's really important that we do find a supportive partner because we're doing a lot for others, right? We want to
yeah,
make sure
yeah.
that support is at least an energy exchange.
It has to be. And my team, they really do run my life and they run my business. In
Yeah.
fact, they actually channel into most of my employees on the jobs they need to do and what they need to do, right?
Wow.
It's the
Interesting.
weirdest thing. I built the 3 companies, but I don't actually run my company. I show
Okay.
up and I talk to you and the
Yes.
client.
Yeah.
And my business is run by itself. There's 17 people running the business, right?
Yeah.
Just do my
Yeah.
thing. So yeah.
I love it. So for you, you talk about your team. Can you identify your team? Do you know the members of the team, or is it just a collective, the team?
Yeah, let me kind of explain this a little bit because again, there's a progression here.
Sure.
I had a reading done on me in February of last year. Again, right about the same time the chakra things happened. And
Mhm.
again, I love the phrase every psychic needs a psychic because I can't see inside of me. All right.
Yeah. Right.
And these are not
Exactly.
full souls. They're just sparks. They're just aspects. Again, the reason I have so much is because of the audience I serve. Whatever they need is whatever comes through. So the audience know that. In February, the reading I had, the lady's like, listen, you have soul aspects of 16 ascended masters, 15 archangels, and 10 Christed ETs in your field at this point. And so I was
Wow.
a soul braid at that point, meaning my
Okay.
soul was sharing space, or they were sharing space with me, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Then in Tulum, through a Bufo and a Cambo, when they opened the cells of the body and did the ego death, they all
Hmm.
merged into my field as a single embodied collective. So I am a human with an embodied collective in my field. They don't
Okay.
talk to me like you might think. They don't identify themselves. I have one voice because they're like, listen, you're not here for the story. You're not here to talk about the 3 billion times you've done this, or what's going to happen, or what's happening tomorrow, what's going on in the globe. Like, that is not your job.
Yeah.
You're here to show up, do your work, and let your work expand as it needs to expand. So they don't identify themselves individually. However, it was right after midnight, New Year's this year. They came through and like, listen, let's explain a little bit more about your configuration. I call it my configuration. They're like, you are connected in the structure to the divine authority. And I'm like, authority? Who are you? Come on. Because I don't like
Right.
those words, right? No one likes those words.
Right.
They're
Well,
like, just like, listen, let me explain to you. I'm like, okay, all right. They like every species, every planet, every universe, every galaxy, every consciousness, every collective consciousness has a set of experiences they're supposed to follow, directed by source. Source says this is the human collective experience throughout us,
mhm.
whatever. Who manages that? The divine authority does. The divine authority makes sure whatever source's decision is for that collective, they manage it. That is what is embedded in my field. They do not
Okay.
identify themselves.
Got it. Okay. Perfect. Do you write? Do you channel? Do you do any writing? I mean, I know you must channel because you're channeling for the energy and the healing, but
It's a
no
little
writing?
different. Don't do the writing. Well, the channeling is a little different. So let's talk about
Okay.
this for a moment. There's channeling of light language, right? I am a
Right.
hollow bone. When it comes through, I don't infer, I can't manipulate, I don't know what's happening. It just happens, right? But in June of last year, I was woken up at 3 in the morning and he's like, hey, I'm here. I'm like, who are you? He's like, you know who I am. I'm like, oh, you're here. He's like, yeah. So the great divine authority, a spark, I finally reached enough frequency in the body where a spark from the great divine director was able to come in towards the top of my field. He's still merging in.
Okay.
All right. He will be channeling at some point. Right. And I do channel messages to client. It just comes out in the middle of a conversation. Like there's no tapping in. There's no toning. There's none of this. It's just, it's on. But he'll be coming in when he comes in, because they don't give me details, and he will begin channeling the human race from his aspect. Yeah.
I love it. So what about your muggle life? Do you have a muggle life? Do you
Still trying to
have
figure it out.
hobbies? Okay.
I'm literally, I'm in Asheville, North Carolina right now. So I've been doing the
Beautiful
digital,
place.
I've been doing the digital nomad thing since the reset. 2 months here, 2
Okay.
months there. It's been Colorado,
Yeah, yeah.
it's been Shasta, it's been all these places, right? And Asheville is where I'm finally getting my grounding, right?
Yeah.
And I'm learning to enjoy life. I've never enjoyed, I gotta be careful when I say that. I don't want people to get the wrong impression. I've never experienced joy in my life, that emotion. It was just always just there. Now I'm
Right.
experiencing it for the first time, right? So I'm learning that, I've got a very, very small circle of people that I keep close to me.
Yeah.
Because of what I do and what I can do and the reach I have to put these walls up so that people don't just start, jumping.
Vampires.
Yeah.
So we don't have vampires.
You got it. Yeah, vampires that have energetic friends we don't want.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, Asheville has an amazing energy to it, a vortex energy, which is really beautiful. So, that might be really like a plug-in for you that, is bringing you some spark and peace.
It might be. They had me in Sarasota, Florida on the Crystal Sands, right, for a while as well.
Okay.
Just,
Yes.
a little bit of everywhere.
A little bit of everywhere. That's how it goes. And,
Yeah.
it's interesting too, because you said the digital nomad, which is, I didn't even think about it until you said it. And although I'm not on that, I've done it with my husband, which is really interesting. Like we go to Colorado, we go up north to California, we go to New Jersey, we go to New York. I did an international tour. Like it is interesting, again, when you're of service, how they do kind of move you around. I do find that to be interesting.
Yeah. So when I had the higher self step in and the divorce took place, I got rid of everything. So I'm doing this digital nomad with no real home.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm tired. That's okay. I'm at the end. I'm ready to buy a home now. Yeah, I'm tired.
It's a leap of faith though, for sure. Right.
It was. It totally was. But, when you're connected, when you're on, when you're in touch, it might be a leap of faith, but it doesn't feel scary.
No, right. Well, it did feel a little scary to me, but it also, more to your point, it didn't matter if I felt scared. I knew I had to do it.
Correct.
Like, so that's just it, right? It's not really a choice.
I tell people that. They're like, oh, you have free will. I'm like, no, I don't quite think you understand at some level. This is actually who I am.
Yeah, I think so. I agree that although we all have free will, there are people that I believe to be chosen, that this is your purpose. And once you're aligned with that purpose, you just fall into place. You fall into knowing what you're meant to do. And that's
totally.
I will say, at least for me, I found that really by finding my purpose, I felt so peaceful. It just feels so peaceful. And I may work just as much as I did as a tax accountant, but it's way more enjoyable. And I always have the energy for it. Do you have the same experience?
Sort of. You're not going to like this.
Okay,
it's just
that's
the opposite.
okay.
I work less.
Okay.
I work 3, 4, 5 hours a week.
Yeah, great.
And
good.
my team runs everything. I just show up, do the thing I do, right?
Perfect.
And everything happens. So I've learned from my other businesses how to scale a business without taxing myself.
Good. Oh, good. Yeah, that's wonderful. I love that. What is one of your favorite, other than that young girl who had the unfortunate brain tumor, are there any other stories that you felt really impacted you or impacted your purpose that you'd like to share?
So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't have conversations with my clients usually. We're going in there. I'm doing the work. I am not the guy to tell them how to do things later. I am not the information guy and process guy. I couldn't tell you the best way to meditate, right? So understand that feedback is usually not there. But I went to an event in San Diego, September, I think it was, and one of the vendors come over to me. He says, "Do you remember me?" I'm like, "No." I don't remember a lot. And when I'm up there, I don't remember what's going on down here, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's like, you cured my cancer. He's like, it
Oh,
happened right
wow.
away. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm just here to thank you and let you know you kind of saved my life. So I get these
Wow.
randomly, but again, I don't focus on them. Right? I've
Okay.
got so many testimonials, and I mean, it's all there, but I don't. I just do my thing. Yeah,
You just do your thing.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love it. No, that's really great. And through the journey of this, are there any past relationships that are still in your life, or do you feel once you found this purpose, it was like kind of like a rocket, everybody else kind of had to leave?
They all left, but there's still a thread of hello, how are you? But there's no real
Okay.
conversation or depth to it. Even the former wife and I are still friends, given what
Okay.
happened, right? But
Yeah, yeah.
they have no way to explain any of this. So the conversations are just, hey, how are things? And it's a 5 or 10 minute conversation once every couple months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Great. And then when you are working, I know we're going to set an intention as well today so
Hmm.
that the audience has an opportunity to experience a little bit of what you offer and what you
Hmm.
do. I know we mentioned a lot of an audience, but you still work with people one-on-one. Would I be correct with that?
Not necessarily. I did so many sessions last year. I mean, it was
Okay.
intense, and my team shut down the one-on-ones. I'll do an emergency
Okay.
session, right, or
Okay.
or
Got it.
something like that. They shut it down because they needed to bring on the Library of Creation, which is the modality that they channeled, and this is the ability for you to heal yourself super easy using super easy visualization. So it's another way for you to access the same level of codes I do, but in your own way. So they're like, listen, people need to heal themselves. Here are the codes to do it. Go show them.
Oh, great. So, how are you showing them? Just demonstrating in front of large audiences or through an online program?
Everything I do is pretty much online. I do in-person events. I've got an in-person event in Asheville on July 18th. That'll be announced this
Okay.
week, right?
Okay.
But the Library of Creation is a place where everything that's ever been created, the Library of Creation, exists. Every thought, every emotion across all consciousness that's ever been there is in the library. And you're able to go into the library, and I created this version with rooms. So, as an example, you would go into the room of your past lives, right?
Wow.
My
Okay.
team doesn't want you to have a story. They're like, screw the stories, we're done, because it's going to make you hold that energy. So we're going to do the work, no story. So in this room, it's like a little theater setting, and then there are turned off TVs on stage. And what happens is you'll ask the room a question. Please show me the past lives on the TVs in front of me that are responsible for the pain in my shoulder. Please show them
Okay.
to me, blurred and out of focus. The TVs will come on blurred and out of focus, and then you'll ask the room to, heal and release that past life, and you will feel the energy coming out of your shoulder as it's happening, right? Now, you could say, show me those past lives in HD or high def, and you can go into those TVs and view the trauma taking place. I did that with the class once. It did not go well.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Did not
Great.
go
I
well.
can
But
imagine.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But even your trauma, no one really remembers their trauma. And you can go
Yeah.
into the room of trauma and say, listen, show me the objects that are responsible for my inability to love others. Okay?
Okay.
Or the trauma. I'm not getting the question right, but the trauma associated with it. And what happens, there'll be an object that shows up that's connected to all of the trauma of the question in your field. Now, you'll give that object love and gratitude, not the trauma, right? Because we don't know what's going on there. And as that happens, the energy leaves your body
Okay.
because you're focused on that object. So this is a way for you to heal yourself rapidly.
I love it. Okay,
Hmm.
great. Well, if you don't mind, if you feel that you would like to set an intention and
Totally.
for our audience and maybe give them a little bit of
Yeah,
love and healing, that would be fantastic.
let's do it. So we're not going to set the
Okay.
intention necessary. Let's do what I call free form.
Okay, I'm
Right?
going to let you go on.
Yeah,
Oh,
which
I'm
means
going to let
everyone's going to
you.
receive whatever they need to receive, which is beautiful, right? And not only that, but just for the audience, you're going to hear light language. I'm going to sound like I'm babbling. You're going to giggle if you have never heard it before. Just relax. It's fun. And you don't have to do anything. You'll never hear an actual word coming out of my mouth that you can make sense of. And that is designed so that your brain doesn't get in the way. So no expectations. We're just going to allow it to show up. You're going to hear different tones coming through, and that is different, as we said earlier, tools in the toolbox. different frequencies from the divine that come down the hollow bone, depending on who's in your audience, even on replay. So, here we go. Lero yaro no kamalero yaro shiro takrit karamalero shkarabriete kabalero amalero to rebario to shkarabriete kabriani karota kal oriene kene shkarabrieno retarier shiriar karabario to shkaramalero yaro to rikira makrop kar burut kar burut kamanen kishket kana tamo ko ka ku ki kamo khishka alene kanoto kamalo shalero ya shiro tama namalero to kalemao urotaka patati to pakuti esta tableto tapuku shiaka Talamaleno kanito kamalene kanara da kanto kapati kichkar kan kichkor aro purut kirurisia poriar to rita boloshiya yar to ro kichkor par kichkor kabalero yaro da kichkor malero yar to redish kichkor malero yaro de baliene kichkor kapati kabalero wata to yari ya moto morota urta kulete kiapoka nanamaleno no to le yale to yaro ti takaramale aro shinoto and that's it. Just happened so fast.
Wow, that's incredible. I love that. And so, what did you say? Do you know what you said, or do you not know? Just whatever is needed.
I am tapped out. I'm in the back of my head watching my mouth move.
Okay, got it.
Right.
All right. I love, but you're still within your body.
I am. So I don't have astral travel. My dreams are puppy dogs and kittens. I have no past life retrieval. They don't want me to show up with all of those stories, because that's the whole motto is you don't need the stories anymore.
Yes, I love it. Yeah. So if you don't mind, just please, Ken, just tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, totally. So kenlloydofficial.com. And if you go to /free, there's free gifts for you there. But I have a catalog of 400 things in there. So anything you're looking for, from the physical to the emotional, to the mental, and the activations. I do full activations. I have access to all the codes. You simply need to ask for what you want, but it's in the catalog. I do events on Wednesdays. I do in-person events. I've got things I do all the time. But more importantly, kenlloyd.official for the social. That's the free stuff, right? Go ahead and dip your toe in the water. I drop light codes every day, right, on different things, and just see how it feels.
Oh, thank you so much for being here and sharing your gifts with us and sharing how you work. It's really been a pleasure chatting with you. And everybody head on over to Ken Lloyd Official and let's see what goodies he has there and what codes. I'm sure we could all use a code or two.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ken, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
All right, besties, that's a wrap for the Colby Rebel Show. Thanks so much for joining me. And if you enjoyed the show, please head on over to Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star review, and keep the chat going over on Instagram at Colby Rebel Medium. Each week, I'll have a new guest or live readings and so much more beyond the veil. But until then, my friends, remember, shine your light and shine it bright. Until next time.